Lovely, lovely Virgos. Thank you for stopping by at the Oracle of the Feather Crown Tree. We are doing your Scorpio season reading for the month. Excuse me. This reading is an extension out of the Chakras Ascension readings that I do on a daily basis. So the theory underlying this reading is that if we were to take all of our chakras and combine them into a singular one in our heart space, that we would become more like a radiant sun, where we can give endlessly to our environment instead of needing to take from it. I've also laid the astrological wheel into this so that we can break each ray down into a different house to speak on issues more with more discretion, I guess. Excuse me. So let's start with your first card. Oh, and by the way, if you'd like to book a personal reading, you're welcome to. There is a website listed below. Okay, so through the power of love, all shall unfold in the most perfect way for all concerned. This card is a blessing from an angel who is here to reassure you that all is well. There is no need to worry. All is bathed in a sea of divine love. Well, that's good to hear. I'm not sure how it's going to play out in the rest of this reading, but I've consistently felt, at least for the last few months, that there's something going on in your relationship house that has been in a state of transformation, to put it nicely. So we'll see what's going on there. Otherwise, as I'm peeking over there right now, I don't know at first glance how I'm feeling about it, but we'll get there about halfway through. So anyway, let me begin with the intuitive aspect of this reading here. I see that you've been doing a lot of inner work and that you've been healing yourself tremendously. And I think that that is going to be the beginning for you as far as how you're relating with people more so. Because when we really come into our true alignment, who we really are, we become our own shining star. We're following our higher self, the guidance from that. We are identifying with that. We're incorporating that more into our daily life. We are just more at peace, happier, less, disgruntled and agitated. So I'm feeling that for you right now, that there's definitely this surge of inner peace coming through, and that it's helping to align your love energy with a spiritual energy as well. Now I'm going to take a look at your first house, which is your selfhood and how you're really showing up. It looks like you're very focused, that you've reached almost like a plateau or a pinnacle, and you're not quite sure how you're going to get to the next step. It's like you've kind of traversed a certain terrain. You've got to this point that you thought was really necessary to get at, but what you didn't realize is that when you got to this point, that it would then be very difficult to take the next step without probably having to do something that feels semi-superhuman to do it, like flying or something, or a very big leap of faith. I feel like you have a lot of pent-up energy, like you've been very busy, and this energy is almost getting to the point of overwork, to where like disease is coming up from it, because it could start to kind of self-pollute, because it's just too much energy for one area of your life. I'm thinking of like crowded living areas where disease can spread very rapidly just because it's just too much per capita, like too much exposure for this one environment to really contain. So that's what I'm getting there for you. And that you're very vulnerable right now as well in this. And feeling naive to a certain degree about it. This isn't energy that you fully have mastered yet. Now I'm looking at your second house of value. And it seems like it's a continuation of this energy, but it's able to do that. It's sort of full speed ahead. And there's this quality of the balance of the feminine and the masculine energies together. There's direction, there's a need for loyalty with all of this, but there's an individuality. I'm not getting a lot of partnership here. I feel like there's a major charge in a solo adventure here. And once again, you're probably not able to see all of it all that clearly. You're bringing quite a bit of light to the situation yourself. Yet this feels a little bit untraversed. And it feels, again, like the energy I'm getting here a little bit, like a little too much, a little over the top, a little too fierce. Like you may be going at something with a lot of speed, a lot of direction, a lot of desire. And I'm not entirely convinced that this is necessary. Because anytime we throw ourselves out of balance, we will pay for it in the long run. So balance in all things is, in my opinion, a good way to go. Now, I'm looking at your third house of communication and the community that you may be communicating within to a certain degree. And it does feel like there is fleeting communication that you're not really... I get more of doing than saying right now during this time. You may be doing a lot of acting, or at least pondering and desiring to act, but not a lot of well-invested communication. Whatever is being communicated may just be kind of in passing to a certain degree. And there's also something a little off-putting about the communication. You may find yourself to be... I'm getting almost like a dark angel energy off of that. You may not realize that you're coming with that energy, and you may be thinking that it's... knowing that you're Virgo, you're all about the purity. From your perspective, you probably think that you are in your best energy, that you're communicating in the best way. But what I feel like is that the perception, what's actually being seen, is not the energy that you want it to actually be holding. So it's tricky. I would watch what's going on there, because I definitely get this sort of just like there's not a lot of light and love coming into your communication sector right now. Now, I'm going to look here at your house of home and family. I see you sort of alone and bored in this space, and maintaining your own light, but it's as if the environment isn't really nurturing you at all and giving to you in a way that you feel, ecstatic and really in rapport with. So you may want to look at how you actually work with your environment. And what I'm getting now in kind of continuation of what's going on here, I feel like there's a lot of that energy of, man versus nature. Man controls nature. And there's not a lot of identifying as being part of nature, part of environment, one with everything. That there is this separate self, and that you can go about doing whatever you want, disregarding how it really works in the world at large. That, you know, that you're actually just, you know, a small part in a much bigger organism, and the force and the way of acting seems to be, you know, only really in relation to your personal selfhood, not how it integrates into reality at large. So you may want to think about that, or feel about that, perceive that in some way. Okay, so let's look now at your 5th house. This is really where I see you putting your power out there and how it's going to be received. I see you very consumed almost by like morality in a way, and original doctrines that seemingly hold truths for you, and being bound and tied to some of this early ideology. And again, I'm getting this sort of darker self through here. What I'm hearing coming through is like you don't realize that you're the magician. Like on repeat, you don't realize that you're the magician. You're mistaking the darkness for bad. Like you're moralizing things, and that's actually bringing in an identity of you're becoming darkness in what you believe darkness to be, if you have moralized darkness by labeling it as good or bad. That it's creating a prison for you because you can't escape it, because you are part of everything. You are the light and you are the dark. It's like you can't quite deal with that reality. So I feel like there is maybe a need to explore non-duality a little bit here, and not be so concerned with ethics and morality to a certain degree, because, not that they don't matter, but because I feel like it's creating self-harm. Like you may be taking things to an extreme here. Yeah, and as far as you really being able to extend any power right now into your environment, it's like you're all kind of tied up with it. Like you can't even get to the act of extending it because you're so wrapped up or bound in something that just feels like it's an internal argument for you, that you've really centralized and that you've really rooted yourself in. Okay, your 6th house, which is your house, this is daily routine and health. You seem to be in good health. When you check in with your heart space, which I see here too, I get a good confirmation that your heart energy seems to be okay. Like the self-love for yourself is there, and you're propagating it through acts of nurturance, through making sure that you have good meals, you're drinking enough water, and you're keeping your mind fed in a way too. Like you're keeping your thoughts fairly healthy. or at least through the act of being more pure about how you eat, it's keeping your mind pure in response to that nurturance. Yeah, that feels very good. It feels like you've really mastered this area. And I think I've brought that up a few times. Like I feel like during the last few months at least, if not longer, you've spent a great deal of time just in self-care. And it's probably because it's like what you do best. It's like your modality. You can feel that you have some security there and some routine, and especially during the kind of year that we've had, this may be an area that you've really put a lot of focus on, because this is where you feel, most true to self, most balanced, healthiest. It's very life affirming for you when you're in your energy. Okay, let us proceed to your 7th house here. This is your relationships, also harmony and balance. I feel like you're on the verge of a breakthrough here, because you're becoming a little bit more open-minded to some things, yet not completely. I'm hearing like a lack of self-love, and I see that, but it's like in a baby stage, like you may just really beginning to grasp that and believe in that, like where the term just isn't noise to your ears, but you may truly be feeling it and letting it resonate in you and trying to grow that sense. Though I feel like you're still looking outwardly a lot into the world of illusion, into Maya, and you are making a lot of critical judgments based on the illusions of what you see everywhere, and that you keep a very strong mental distance for self-protection when you're trying to interrelate with other people. That's become nearly a wall. There isn't a lot of emotional juice here, a lot of pure warmth. There feels like there is just like you are, like you've embedded yourself in a lot of thought. You may have a lot of ideas about what you want and how people should be, like the moral codes basically, and that you're standing in front of those, and like those are backing you, and that this is what you're coming at with. And it's again like too much energy that doesn't feel balanced, it doesn't feel healthy, it doesn't feel alluring in the way where it's going to attract the good. It has such, it's like so confounded because it creates the exact opposite effect of what you're intending it to do. So you're intending it to protect you, but in fact, the illusion that it creates, because it's a defense mechanism, so it's going to be read differently than you're intended by the outside world, is that it's going to draw to you exactly what you don't want, because you're more focused on what it is that you don't want than what you do want. And you're also going to draw energy that will challenge you, like the devil will want to come in and test you type of energy. Okay, let's look at your house of depth, mystery, secrets. Yeah. So what we have here is an inability to really put your heart on the surface, an inability to want to, show how important love is to you. And the type of love that is beyond self-love. I mean, a love that really connects with the world passionately. Yeah, it's like getting into the feeling of that seems to be something that you've been avoiding. So, it's like here, like if that's what you really want is a passionate love, you have to be the passionate love. Okay, let's look at your house of higher aspirations and really going beyond your comfort zone. Now here I see an image of you absolving into your reality more, like I was saying over here where you're not really doing that. It looks like if you were to get out of your comfort zone then and to take things a little bit further and integrate again with your environment. I see you being able to do that comfortably with your natural environment because you can identify a certain spirituality there that you've cultivated that you can align with, I think. And I find this replenishing for you. I find this helps ease your mind. You don't have to think so much. And your senses, even though you're not feeling, your senses are kind of closer to the feeling. So it's helping at least keep you in a state from being too desensitized. From either overstimulation or from not integrating, not being part of something. Okay, so your 10th house. This is really where you can have your highest achievements and your legacy is formed. I see you really giving up the stage, like even if you need to make an appearance, there's a feeling of wanting to be camouflaged in this. You want the attention to go towards the work more so, and that the work leads people into a deeper mystery in a way. There's a little bit of playfulness going on and trickery. Like you may be kind of just toying with what you're doing so that there's some intellectual sort of jerks in it and fun and propping and mischievousness almost to it. And what I'm hearing is that it's almost become like play to you. I'm even getting like the Wizard of Oz, like the wizard behind all of the illusions and stuff. Like you're being the wizard right now. But what you really care about is maybe a partnership, especially something that feels closer to marriage for you, feels very prominent, and this career thing is maybe becoming not as serious to you at this time as this idea of a very serious partnership. And I also feel like the career thing keeps you from connecting spiritually in a way. Like you can't be, it isolates you from that. And there's just sort of this ho-hum vibe about it, like that it just doesn't have everything that you want. Now, your 11th house of your your own individuality and your ability to serve humanity. I guess I'm hearing here that you're getting more in touch with your own eternalness. You're questioning it. You may be thinking about reincarnation a little bit, or the afterlife quite a bit. And you're just wondering how timeless you are and what that means to you. I don't think that you've made a decision on it, but you're considering it, like what value or what place this quality has in your life. Because I do see that you're drawn to something like the afterlife very much, and you're just not quite sure how you fit into that. And the afterlife feels like it's becoming more and more important to you, more so than your everyday reality here. So I think you're getting a little more investigative about really how you can participate in a reality like that. Now, your final card is speaking on self-transcendence. I'm hearing lift the veil of your own illusion right now with this. Lift the weight off of yourself. Become lighter. Feel the lightness. Let some things go, especially around thoughts. Become more like an empty vessel. It's like you really are trying to so this for me is like the energy where if you are really doing the work, if you're operating at your highest level, this is where you'll get the most, you'll take like the biggest quantum leap basically. And what I'm seeing here is coming out of maybe any focus on protecting your heart space, any issues around that, and bringing the energy a little bit higher, the higher heart, the heart that's connecting with, the oneness of reality with everyone, feeling your connection to humanity, which I was sort of saying throughout this, there's this kind of me versus the world, you outside of it, a lack of integration. And I think if you were to heal that a little bit more, coming out of this isolation, lightening yourself too, like bringing some loftiness, some air quality, some featheriness to yourself, that you may feel really restored and in a state of more optimal health, even more so than here. This will just restore you at like a soul level. And I think that is maybe what you have not been connecting with as much. There's been a lot of intellectualizing, a lot of 3D qualities, a lot of feeling like you're in the constraints and playing by the rules of this 3D reality. And I think that you need a little, which I was saying, like that magic quality, that not in a way that's like dark magic, or not in any manipulative way of being magic, but just magic in its naturalness, like miracles in a way. So that's what I'm getting for you, Virgo. I do hope that this was helpful. It's been a joy to do this for you. Thank you. And please check out, if you would like to, any of my other playlists, as I have many other themes that you can explore on my channel. Alright, you guys take really good care. Sending you blessings.